Scientists have noticed for nearly 100 years that a ton of animals tend to look like crabs. And a few years ago, this scientific observation was memeified. I don't even know if that's a word, but let's just go with it. Because this is a very real phenomenon, scientists have deemed this process carcinization. It's basically a very specific type of convergent evolution. Before we actually get into the video, if you are the first person to provide the main defining characteristic of a true crab, you will be the pinned comment of this video. Okay, so buckle up and prepare to take a shot every single time I say crab, because here we go. Is this a crab? Is this a crab? How about this? How about that? Did any of those surprise you? If you got any of those wrong, let's understand why by looking at what makes a crab a true crab. Many of the animals that we call a crab belong to the order Decapoda, except for this guy. He'll have his own little episode. But Decapoda, deca meaning 10, poda meaning legs, Decapoda. And decapods include an order of crustaceans, and that includes your crabs, your lobsters, shrimp, and prawns. This order includes nearly 15,000 extant species, making it one of the most species-rich orders. In about 260 million years ago, the common ancestor of Decapoda split off into two groups. So now you have the brachyurans, which are considered the true crabs, and then the anomurans, which are considered the false crabs. So then with those two groups, they were evolving kind of separately. The oldest brachyuran on record is called the Eoprosipin. So this guy, but this is what we think he looks like. And the oldest anomuran on record is called the Platycoda. Again, this is how we found him, but this is what we think he looks like. And when it comes to true crabs, so the brachyurans, they have a rotund, flattened, and broad carapace, stalked eyes, and then the most defining characteristic for them is that they have a reduced abdomen that's tucked under their thorax. While anomurans, they have the tendency to have the very elongated shape, kind of like a lobster, shrimp, and prawns. During the Cretaceous period, so around that 260 million years ago when the Decapoda split off into those two groups, scientists found that there was a boom in crab-like animals, and specifically the brachyurans became more biodiverse. So why is that? Well, it all comes down to adaptability, survivability, and the ability to reproduce. It is possible that the more rotund, broad body form of the true crabs allowed for better mobility. So they were able to move more quickly and more efficiently. That meant they were able to exploit resources and inhabit more areas faster and more efficiently. Like, for example, some true crabs are able to climb trees. Like, look at that. You would never think that this thing would be able to climb trees. And it just so happens when anomurans start to take on the true crab form, so they're tucking in their thorax specifically, they have the tendency to also be able to climb trees. Like, what the f is that? I don't know why this looks more terrifying than this thing, but the coconut crab is kind of terrifying. It is also believed that the elongated body shape of the anomurans made them easier prey, thus they wouldn't be able to survive and reproduce. This shape itself is easier to catch, and the extra length of the abdomen means the predator has more body to go after on a whim, specifically for ambush predators. It is also believed that environmental stressors tended to favor the true crab form over the elongated body form of the anomurans. Now, what those environmental stressors might be are still kind of up to debate, but it's without a doubt that environmental stressors play a role in an animal's evolution. So if you have any idea of what the environmental stressors could be, leave a comment about it down below. So considering all of the benefits of the true crab form, the rotund body form and the tucked in abdomen, several anomurans got carcinized. Look at the hermit crab, the porcelain crab, the squat lobster. All of them have that tucked in abdomen, carcinization. And all in all, as I said, this is just another form of convergent evolution, but because it happens so commonly, scientists made kind of a separate word for it. And so even though several factors favored the true crab form, in the past and presumably in the present, some brachyurans are now adapting, surviving, and evolving by losing their true crab form. So this is decarcinization. The frog crab and the Keiler perplexa are examples of brachyurans losing their true crab form, where they're starting to look a little bit more elongated and their abdomen is starting to come out. Those two are the examples that I see time and time again, but this has been documented to happen several times. And so other examples include sand crabs as well as mast crabs. And as I said again, all of them tend to have kind of the same shape, right? They're starting to look a little bit more elongated and that abdomen is coming untucked. So regardless, something is happening to them now where survivability is favoring them losing that true crab form. So the joke is that becoming a crab is kind of the ideal form and that we're all going to turn into crabs.
Crab people look like crab, work at mobile stores like people.
But that is kind of a stretch. It's very slim that humans are going to turn into crab people. And that is because this is a process that is specific to crustaceans, but then again, you never know what we might look like in a few million years, maybe 100 million years. What that looks like is anyone's guess, but I'm willing to say it's still pretty small that we'll be turning into crab people. So that's going to do it for today, guys. Remember, if you have a wildlife rehab story, you can submit your story to the email that's provided in the description box below. Until next time, we will see you then. Bye.